Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of Sticky Bleachers, a podcast. I'm Bobby here with you today.
And I am Corey, and this is the podcast that you can listen to while you're doing all of the things that people do while listening to podcasts, like working around the house or
doing the dishes,
commuting, or making some sweet, hot and heavy food. I always listen to podcasts when I'm cooking.
Sure, yeah. It's an activity you can do a lot of things to. So you can listen in headphones, you can listen in speakers. We sound great through surround sound, I think.
I hope so, especially Bob's voice with the much better sound hardware and software than have I out here on this side. So how's everything going for you this week, Bob?
Oh, good. Played a couple shows and staying busy, paying attention to all the sports actions going around with the week. But what about yourself?
Well, the first time this previous weekend, I was threatened with a gun for the first time in my life. It was pretty exciting.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a first time in everyone's life when they have all those big major moments, and I checked one off, like the time when you get threatened by a crazy person with a gun. It was great.
I've never been threatened by a crazy person with a gun, so please explain.
Well, we were in the rural west of Ireland, but I did not know that it was going to be the wild west of Ireland. We were out in the northwest corner of Ireland with a friend of ours who lives out there or grew up out there. And he took us out there, and it was awesome. It was an incredible time. We saw all kinds of awesome stuff up there. But it really is the middle of nowhere. It's very, very rural and very, very isolated. We were walking around looking at a couple of old ruined stone cottages, and a guy pulls up on a four-wheeler and starts yelling at us that we're trespassing, which I guess we probably were, but our local friend was like, "I've never ever seen anyone else here." I've never seen a landowner, I've never seen anyone else here. And here's this guy in a four-wheeler who's yelling that he's going to start firing. And I was like, "Okay, all right, we'll go." So then we left that area, crossed the road onto a public trail that goes on the other side, and it was a marked trail. It was like, this is a public access walking trail. Ireland has a lot of system of those that goes along the coast. So we went on the trail, and we were going up this trail, and then we saw a memorial that was off the trail a little bit. It was like a little marker. So we walked up the trail to this grave marker thing. There was a memorial to a ship that had wrecked there. And then here he comes up again on the four-wheeler from the other side of the valley. As soon as he saw us step off the trail, he must have been watching us from the ridge at the top. And as soon as we stepped off the trail, he gunned it back down for us and started screaming at us again and threatening to start firing. We were like, okay, all right.
So did he pull a gun on you? Or did he just...
He didn't have it. He didn't have it that we could see.
Okay.
He didn't have it that we could see.
It still counts.
I think it still counts. I think it still counts. We decided not to pressure him. I mean, he most likely was bluffing. But I'm going to count it that it was being threatened with a gun, because I don't know if I'll ever get any closer than that.
You don't want to get any closer.
I hope not.
Really.
Yeah, no, I
That's
hope not.
That's the best experience for that kind of experience.
Yes, I hope not. Now, in fairness to the people who do live in rural Ireland, I did meet a number of other very friendly, very welcoming people out there. So not everybody who lives in rural Ireland is a crazy person threatening to start shooting at you.
But they all have guns, right?
They do all have guns, and
they
can shoot. I guess it is a landowner's right in Ireland to shoot dogs if they are chasing your sheep around. So if a dog, a strange dog is chasing your sheep, you're allowed to just start blasting.
So dog law is different over in Ireland.
I guess, yeah. Well, but America, you can just start blasting if a black person comes too near you, apparently. So, not to get too political. I'm sorry.
If you're a cop.
If you're a cop. There you go. I should have, added that in. Now it's not political anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
We solved that problem. We are once again an apolitical podcast. So also going on in Ireland and in Western Europe this week, Bob, is the return of the Six Nations Rugby Tournament. Very exciting. Now, you remember, and anyone listening may remember, last week we had a little impromptu quiz of Bob where I asked him how many players were on a side in the rugby team. Do you remember, Bob, how many it was?
Oh, it's 15, correct?
It was 15. That is absolutely correct. So sweet. I have a little quiz for Bob about some other rugby things, but I'll do a quick recap of what's happened before, at least for the Irish team, and what's coming up. So Ireland had a tie and a loss. So right now they are 0-1-1. They tied with Wales. They lost by 1 to France. And tomorrow the Irish team travels to England, our hated rivals, the Irish's hated rivals both politically and athletically for a long, long, long time. to take this on. It's kind of a must-win game for Ireland if they want to hold on to their consecutive streak of Six Nations wins.
Now I have to ask: is the rugby match more important than the soccer match between England, or which one has a higher priority?
The rugby match these days, the rugby match definitely would. The Irish national soccer team had been kind of in the doldrums for about 15 or 20 years. They were pretty good in the 80s, and then they were, as I understand it, just terrible for a long time. But the last couple of years, they've picked it up, and they've had some big wins over Poland, and they've had a big win over Germany in international competition, and Germany won the last World Cup. So
Gotcha.
that was a huge win for them. So people are more excited about about Irish national soccer, but I think rugby always, at least as far as I know, would be bigger
Gotcha.
for that. Most Irish
So
people that like
Irish soccer has followed a 80s hair metal band career trajectory.
yes.
They're big in the 80s, 90s were kind of tough, but now they're making a comeback.
Now they're coming back, and people are excited again. I mean, they do pack the stadium for those games, and they'll pack it for the rugby matches when they start coming back in. I think Ireland hosts Italy, and I think Ireland hosts Scotland in rugby later on in this tournament. But anyway, tomorrow they travel to England in kind of a do-or-die, must-win game. They can't get the Grand Slam, which is interesting. They use that. You have to win 5 games in a row to get a rugby Grand Slam here.
You have to do the same thing at Denny's, actually.
Oh, is it 5?
It's the same.
Yeah,
yep.
just
you have to win
like
5 rugby matches.
That's right. It's just like a Denny's Grand Slam. So Ireland has no chance for that, having the tie and the loss. But I think they could still win the tournament by points if they do win out, especially over England here. But on to our quiz, Bob. This is going to be about
under the rugby.
Yeah, the rugby quiz. This is going to be good. Now, this is going to be all about international rugby. So we're not thinking like small rugby leagues. We're thinking national teams playing each other, because there's some varying rules, but that's what all this is going to go by. International rules rugby. All right, here's the first question. This team, winner of 3 World Cup championships, including the last World Cup in 2015, goes by the nickname the All Blacks. They somewhat controversially begin match warm-ups with the dance of the Maori tribe native to their home country. The question very simply is, what country are they from? And this is a multiple choice question. Is it Brazil, New Zealand, or Tanzania? So the question again, they go by the nickname the All Blacks, winners of 3 World Cups, and they do the dance of the Maori tribe that's native to their country. So,
well, when you were reading the question, New Zealand did pop in my brain for no particular reason.
Okay.
But after listening to the choices, I'm gonna go with Tanzania.
Okay. The answer actually is New Zealand. You were correct in your very first assumption. It is New Zealand. They are one of the best international rugby teams in the history of international competition of rugby. They go by the name the All Blacks, and yes, before they kind of intimidate their opponents with this dance, and it's come in under some criticism recently because it maybe is a little bit culturally insensitive, although there are members of that tribe of people that will play for their squad. So it's a murky area. But yeah, the Maori tribe, native to New Zealand, and that's what. So you were with it, but
all right. I'm trusting my first instinct from now on.
All right, well here we go.
Never again.
Here's question 2. The English rugby team, and I am not making this up, uses an American Negro spiritual as their team song. That's right, the English rugby team. It's sung by the players,
ironic,
it's sung by fans, and it's sung by British pop singers to promote their big matches. The question is, which Negro spiritual do they sing? Is it Swing Low, Sweet Chariot? Is it Deep River? Or is it Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen? So, England, the team song of England. So, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, or Deep River. That's my favorite.
You don't have to remind me of those old songs.
All right, and then Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen, made famous by The Lion King and other sources.
Yes. I'll go Deep River.
Ooh, sorry about that, Bob. It was Swing Low, Sweet Chariot.
Was it Swing Low?
Started in the late 80s when, well, believe it or not, This is so crazy, but the English team had a African-born player playing for them, and some fans just said, "Oh, there's a black guy on our team. Let's sing this song to support him." This Negro spiritual from America that we kind of know is associated with black people, and it stuck and continues to stick. And they're going to be singing it tomorrow. Swing low, sweet chariot. It is crazy.
Wow.
All right.
That is crazy.
Next question. So Bob's 0 for 2 so far. I think you might get this one.
Yeah. Well.
How long is each half in international rugby? Each half. Is it 30 minutes, 40 minutes, or 45 minutes?
Man, I really wish I would have got that New Zealand question right. I'm going to go, I'll go half hour. I'll go 30 minutes.
30-minute halves? It is 40 minutes. 40-minute halves. 40-minute halves, yes. So soccer games are 45. Irish Gaelic sports are 35, and then rugby here is 40-minute halves. Now that's plus the stoppage
I got it mixed
time.
Up.
Yeah, that's plus the stoppage and injury time, but they don't count that. Very weird. All right, here we go. Onward. I think
I'd be demoted in baseball
if
I went over 3 at the plate.
Yeah, you might get this one. Okay, what happens if a player throws a forward pass in rugby? Is it penalty to the other team? Is it nothing? Forward passes are okay. Is it a line out to the other team, or is it a scrum to the other team? And we talked about this a little bit last week.
Yeah, we did. So what's a line out? Can you refresh?
Yeah. So I intentionally threw in the terminology here. So a penalty is they just get the ball there and they can kick it, either for a score or just the equivalent of a punt. A line out is a bit like when the ball goes out of bounds in basketball and the other team gets to throw it in from there. And then a scrum is the thing where everyone stands in a circle and yes.
Gotcha.
So I think we can rule out that nothing happens because we talked about this last week. But is it penalty to the other side, line out to the other side, or scrum to the other side?
Oh, man. I'm going to go with a line out to the other side.
Ooh, sorry, Bob. It
is
a
scrum
to the opposition. A scrum from that spot.
I tell you what.
Yes. Okay.
I'm gonna get revenge on you next week here with all the baseball stuff.
I know. Oh, you have no mercy. I had fun putting this together. Okay, we got a couple more questions. How many points for a drop goal? Now, a drop goal is something that players can do from anywhere in the field. They can drop the ball, and as long as it touches the ground, they can then kick it through the goalposts for a score. Okay. And they can do that from anywhere on the field.
So it has to bounce off the ground and then they can kick it?
Yes, so it can't be a drop kick like a punt. It has to bounce off the ground and kick it a little bit like the kind of obscure NFL drop kick field goal. So how many points?
Or Canadian rules football.
Yeah, there you go. How many points is that worth? 1, 2, or 3 if you do that?
I'm going to go with 3.
You got it. It is worth 3 points if you drop kick the ball successfully. So there we go. We got one. I got one, man. Woo. Okay, here's some.
Not going over.
Yeah, here's some more terminology for you. Ready? What is a ruck? R-U-C-K. What is a ruck? Sorry. Is it the attempt to add on 2 points after a try? Remember, that was what they call a touchdown.
Gotcha.
Is it the name of the war dance that New Zealand performs before their match? Is it an offensive word used to describe an overweight forward? Or is it what is formed when a player is tackled? The grouping of players that's formed when a player is tackled.
It sounds like a word that I want to say right now, but we have a...
no explicit tag on
no explicit tag on our podcast here. Can I get the options again?
Yes. So the word is ruck, and is it the attempt to add on extra 2 points after a touchdown? Is it the name of the war dance that New Zealand performs? Is it an offensive word used to describe an overweight forward? Or is it the formation of players that happens after a player is tackled?
I'll go formation of players after. Or the formation of players after a player's tackle.
You got it. Nice job, Bob. All right.
On a roll now.
Yep. I've got very last one for you. Ready? You're going to like this one.
This one's save face here.
Which of these following is not a rugby position? Okay. Which of these is not a rugby position? Is it fly half? That's F-L-Y half. Is it 8-man? Is it blocker? Is it scrum half? Is it hooker? Or is it fullback? And I can read those to you again. So
which one's not
which of
a
these is
terminology?
not a position? So all of these are real names of player positions except one. And the choices are again fly half, 8-man, that's the number 8.
Okay.
Blocker, scrum half, hooker, and fullback.
I want there to be a position called hooker. I mean, just personally.
Okay.
I know it seems obvious, but I'll go with fullback. I'll go with fullback and know that I'm probably wrong.
All right. The correct answer was blocker. There is a fullback, and there are several kinds of halfbacks. Your dreams come true, Bob. There is a hooker. There is a hooker
Good.
on a rugby squad, and scrum half, and then 8.
I knew they looked happy for a reason.
Yep, that's right. And then 8-man is just apparently it is just the name of a position that didn't have a good word in English as the game was being developed. So it's just the 8th number when you look at a diagram, the player positions are numbered.
Gotcha.
So it's
kind of like the 6th man in basketball.
Yeah, a little bit like the 6th man, except they're on the field, unlike the 6th man, which is on the bench. Well, there you go, Bob. Nice job on that one. You got 2, and I made that pretty tricky for you.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll get brushed up on my rugby, and we'll have another Under the Rugby segment here.
All right, that will be great because I could.
But payback's coming with baseball. You get ready.
I know, yeah. I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun, Bob. So let's talk about the picks that we made last week. See if you were more correct on me than me last week making picks for basketball.
Well, we went through the top 10 or top 5 college basketball teams and tried to guess which one would be upset next. And there were a few upsets this past week. But Corey, you picked Oklahoma to be upset over West Virginia, and West Virginia did not pull up the upset, and Oklahoma came out on top. Mm-hmm. I chose Wisconsin over Iowa, which unfortunately did happen. And but we also had Villanova losing this past week, and Virginia lost to Miami. So some top-ranked teams losing to unranked and ranked teams as well. So I thought we could look forward to this weekend's action and kind of spotlight some of the best 5 games. What do you say?
I love it. Let's do it. Let's go.
Cool. Well, first game that we have on tap is number 1 Villanova at Marquette. And Marquette is unranked, and but they are playing at home. Mm-hmm. And although Villanova is number 1 team in the country, who do you got in this game?
I think the ghost of Dwayne Wade is going to come back for the upset.
Yeah, you like?
I'm going
Marquette over Villanova?
Golden Eagles all over it.
There you go. I think it'll be a close game. I mean, I know Marquette's not ranked, and Villanova's coming off a tough loss, but Marquette shoots the 3-pointer well, and they both shoot the ball well on the floor. They both actually rebound very similar, and they have similar scoring offenses over the last few games. But I'm gonna go with Villanova on this one, just because I think that tough loss this week, they'll have to respond, and I think they're a really good basketball team. So, and they played a really good Xavier basketball team this week. So, and the next game we got is one of the best matchups I think on Saturday is Louisville at Miami, and Louisville comes into the game ranked 11th in the country, and Miami is 12th in the country. Miami had a big win over Virginia earlier in the week, and Louisville, I believe, they pulled out the victory last night over, I can't remember who they played. But in this game, who do you got, Corey?
Is this game, did you say it was at Louisville?
No, it's in Miami.
Oh, it's in Miami. All right, then the ghost of Dwayne Wade is going to come back, and it's going to be Miami at home pulling it down.
Dwayne Wade's alive. You know he's alive, right?
He's a local in Miami.
Yes.
God rest his soul. Dwayne Wade, God rest his soul. That's why they call him the Chicken Man.
He lives.
But I'm going to go with Miami because I think that game is a toss-up. So it just goes to the home team. They get a couple more whistles, and the home cooking is just enough to do it.
I think that's one of the fun things about college basketball is that the home team can really have a significant advantage. I mean, I watched the Virginia-Miami game, and the crowd was just going crazy the entire game. And so same way with that Xavier-Villanova game. So it's always fun when the crowd can have an influence over the game and you get that real electric vibe in there. So I'm going to go Well, you went with Miami, right?
Yes.
D Wade.
The ghost of Dwayne Wade is going to give them an assist, and it's going to happen.
All right. Let's think here. I'm gonna go Louisville. Nothing against D Wade or the Heat or anything like that or the Canes. Don't want to disrespect the U, but I'm liking what Louisville's doing this year. I think it'll be definitely a good game for sure.
Yeah.
So this next matchup has nothing to do with Dwayne Wade, or at least I don't think it does. But
We will see
Oklahoma,
about that.
Yeah, we can probably make a connection. Oklahoma versus Texas. Oklahoma comes in ranked number 3 in the country, and Texas is at number 25. So the question is, Corey,
All right.
who do you got?
The ghost of Vince Young is going to come back, and it's going to be Texas. Smoking it.
Okay,
Put it
but
down.
Just to clarify, Vince Young's still alive too,
But he's broke.
right?
The ghost of
Yeah,
Vince
well-
Young's money is going to come back.
But the ghost of Vince Young. He did do that Wendy's commercial with T.O., so he maybe has. I don't know what Wendy's is showing out for a 30-second ad, but
Yes. All right. Well, it's going to be a little pile of money in ghost form. And it's going to say, I'm Vince Young's money. Don't let what happened to me happen to you. But yes.
there's a lot of old NFL players that probably have those ghosts
No,
haunting their house
yeah, I know.
or their apartments.
I know. But I think
A lot of eBay a lot of rings on eBay.
yes, but I think that is probably one of the strongest of the supernatural money spirits because it was so,
Andre Rison would be another
yeah,
one.
there was so much and it was lost so quickly. I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
NFL players kind of lose it slowly over a long career, but it was just it was a huge signing bonus and then just gone.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where in football you're paid by the week. So you're if you don't play and if it's not in your contract, you could lose part of that money or not get paid at all for not playing. And so it's one of those things I look back, I don't know if you're good at football or you're good at any other sport, I don't know why you wouldn't try your hand at baseball. Just to get a nice contract.
Yeah.
One contract.
Yeah.
Pull a Samardzija and go get your
That's
guaranteed
right.
money.
And now Adrian Peterson's money is doing better than Vince Young's. So if his money's ghost tried to have an imprint on this
That's
game,
split between a lot of baby mamas.
yeah, there's
So.
a lot of that. There's a lot of that, but I think it's still coming in enough. Is the thing?
Yeah.
It can
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of feed
Uh-huh.
the beast a little bit.
Exactly.
But anyway, who you have in this game, Bob?
Who do I have in this game? I like that Oklahoma. They get the offensive and defensive boards at a greater rate than Texas does, but Texas shoots the 3 really well, and it is at home for Texas, and they've had a couple nice wins here as of late. But I'll join you. I'll join you with Vince Young. I'll go Texas over Oklahoma for the upset.
All right. I think anyone listening can clearly see that I've watched a lot more college basketball this year than you, Bob. Because all you have is facts and figures, but I've got in touch with the spirit realm.
Yeah, exactly. That's what really makes you successful come March Madness time. So
Yeah, we'll see about
it's
that.
always the close your eyes and point, method that works out the best.
Yes.
Then you realize what teams you're rooting for. You're like, oh yeah, I want SMU to do well this year.
Maybe I can get a big contract as the first televised sports medium where like ESPN can cut to me in the
There you
studio
go.
and I can speak to the spirits.
Well, now we're really onto something. I think that's a marvelous
Yeah.
idea.
I mean, someday
Yeah.
I can channel the ghost of Mike Pereira and get
Yeah.
the correct calls.
Joe Madden's doppelganger.
Ooh, yeah, Joe Madden's doppelganger. Yes. Well, I mean, and I can be more accurate with the picks than the ghost of Mike Carey. God rest his soul.
Well, you'd be more accurate probably than the Swami.
the Swami.
But
Yeah.
Chris Berman.
Yes, that's a bit of a throwback, but I like it. I like
It is.
That works.
But yeah, they was on the same wavelength.
no,
there,
I know. I like it.
Kind of you get the turban and get the crystal ball and everything in front of you.
Yes.
Would you go that far, or would you be more like tarot card psychic?
I know. I think I would just be. I'd like. I don't know. If I was going for a throwback, I wear jinkos. I think to this thing. I'd wear like jinkos
Some FUBU.
and well, I like South Pole.
Massimo
I think. Something
t-shirt?
yeah, maybe a Massimo t-shirt. One of those t-shirts where it had the dots that spelled out something, but it was fuzzy if you were far away.
Oh yeah.
And it would say no fear, and on the back it would have one of those and one cartoons. It would be a rare misprint with a no fear logo in the dots on the front, and then and one. And it would be the and one guy where he's flipping a quarter and it says, here's some money I always give to the gameless. That's the and one cartoon that it would be.
You got to get that. You got to get that specially made. It'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, well, especially made, but the real value is in the ones that are the misprint. There was a factory in Asia that just had, they had the wrong screen printer on the side. They were just switching from making No Fear shirts to Massimo shirts to and one shirts, and they just screwed up the screen printing. There's only a few of them made. You know.
I'm sure someone lost their hands in that sweatshop.
Oh man, yes, that's terrible, but maybe happen. All right, what else we have for basketball this weekend?
Well, we'll see what ghosts you can conjure up here. This next matchup is number 9 Arizona at number 22 Utah, the Utes, which is, depending on which way the wind's blowing, either a creative name or not a creative name at all. But Utah's playing very well over the last week or so. Arizona had a tough loss to Colorado this week. Question is, Corey, which spirits are talking to you now?
The ghost of, wait for it, yes. The ghost of Sandra Bullock from Speed is telling me that Arizona is going to pull this one down.
Oh, really?
Yes. She has the non-hooded Arizona sweatshirt. Yes, I can see it clearly now. She's actually sitting right here with me. Yes. Arizona all the way on this one.
Gotcha. Well, I'll use a Keanu connection if we're breaking out Speed here. I'll go Johnny Utah from Point Break. So I'm going to go with Utah in this game, yeah. And we didn't even plan that. That was just what the spirits were telling us.
Well, clearly they're speaking to both of us.
Clearly. I don't know if I want Sandra Bullock's spirit speaking to me, but
I don't know.
That's me personally.
Sandra Bullock's spirit looks pretty good in 1994 or whatever. Plus, everything's transparent, if you know what I mean. You could see through everything.
Yeah, I get it. Who was the bad guy in Speed?
It was Dennis. Is it Dennis Hopper?
Dennis Hopper? Yeah. I just remember he lost his head in the subway.
Yes, he does. He does unfortunately lose his head, but yeah.
Yeah.
But he's the one. He gives away the signal that he's watching because he says, "Tell that Wildcat that something," and he puts it together like he said, "Wildcat. She's wearing an Arizona sweatshirt. They're the Arizona Wildcats." Oh, I know college sports.
Wow. Do we just have Keanu drop in on the set? Oh, I'm an FBI agent.
Oh, there he is in Point Break.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Awesome.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Keanu, if you ever want to come on the show, just let us know. Send us an email.
Yep.
I'm sure he's listening.
Sticky Bleachers on Twitter.
Uh-huh. One of the greatest actors of our time.
Yes. All right, what else?
But we'll get to actors and actresses here in a bit.
Yes, we will get there. But I think, is there one more game that we need to get to before we start talking about
There's one more game.
Hollywood
I think
this
one's this one's going to be the most exciting game, I think.
All right.
It's going to be number 7, North Carolina at number 3, Virginia. So UNC coming off a pretty good week. They blew out Miami this past weekend. And Virginia had a tough loss to Miami, actually, on, I believe it was Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
But that was in Miami. This is in Virginia. I think Virginia is probably one of the most well-rounded teams in the country. Who do you got in the game? What spirit's speaking to you now?
Here's what I'm hearing from. You ready? This is a weird one.
We got to get some music and stuff for your thinking.
Yeah, I know. This is I just like mystical sounds, but it's the ghost of Dennis Rodman's marriage to Madonna. It's a very strange energy. It's angry that Michael Jordan came back to the Bulls and ended up being a much badder boy than Rodman, but off the court in off the court issues. So the spirit is angry, and I believe it's going to intervene on behalf of Virginia in this game, so that MJ's alma mater is not going to take this one. So the angry spirit of the departed ghost of Dennis Rodman's marriage to Madonna is going to make sure that Virginia takes this game up. Okay.
I'm going to agree with you. I think Virginia is going to pull out the victory. It will be very close. One thing to look at is North Carolina does dominate the boards quite a bit. And if we know anything, that rebounds are very important in basketball. And actually the Miami coach was giving a little pregame speech before they beat Virginia about the the early '80s Lakers in a speech that Pat Riley gave about out rebounding the team, and they went on to win the championship that year. Um, so that is one thing I'd look for in this game. UNC does have quite the advantage over Virginia, but Virginia has one of the best defenses in the league. So I have to go with Virginia as well. I don't know if there's any spirit speaking to me at all about it, but
Okay.
maybe LeBron's first stint in Cleveland
Ooh,
might be speaking to me.
LeBron's first. That's
go.
a good one. That's a good one. So, so real quick, shall I recap the picks?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so in that first one, I've got Marquette. Bob's got Villanova. In the second one, I've got Miami. Bob has Louisville. We both have Texas to win. I have Arizona. Bob has Utah. And then we both have Virginia over North Carolina for different reasons, but I think it's going to end up the same. So that's a recap of our picks for this weekend's games. But there's another exciting live event happening this weekend, Bob.
Oh, absolutely.
Cue the Hollywood music.
I don't know. Yeah, we got the Oscars coming up.
Yes, the Oscars Sunday night. Gonna go late.
Whereas I don't watch the Oscars. I do enjoy the results and everything. Do you get a chance to watch them?
No, because they are going to start at something like 2 a.m. local time, and they'll likely go till something like 6 a.m. local time.
So you don't stay up for them?
I'm not going to stay up for the Oscars. I stayed up for the Super Bowl. Not going to stay up for the Oscars. Although, as I said, I may be able to watch the end of the Oscars over breakfast. So I might be seeing
true.
Best Picture winner when I'm having my oatmeal and coffee on Monday morning.
There you
So
go.
maybe that'll be kind of fun. The sun will be up, birds will be singing, and one of the films that we're going to talk about is going to be taking home the Golden Oscar.
Yeah, where should we start?
Let's start with the actor categories.
Okay.
Let's go actors, director, and then Best Picture.
Now, just a thing to all our listeners, Corey and I have done our due diligence and extensive research on all of these movies, and I believe we've seen a handful of them.
Yeah, we've even seen some of them. Yeah, that's our extensive research is having
we are aware that these actors and actresses exist. We recognize that they've made movies throughout the year. So I think that's all the due diligence we need to do for the Academy, right?
I think so. I think we're good. Okay, so let's start with let's go with Best Actress first. Best Actress
Best
first.
Actress.
I'm not sure what order these go in. I could probably ask somebody or could look it up, but we're just going to go on the fly on this one. So, for Best Actress, this would be female actor, Bob, for anyone keeping score at home.
Gotcha.
And in the lead, we have Brie Larson from the film Room at minus 2,500. So that's a big one. You're gonna have to put down a lot of money to win on that one. She's a clear favorite. The second one, I'm actually gonna ask you about her in a little bit, Bob. It is S. Ronan from Brooklyn, but we're gonna talk about her name here in a sec. She's at plus 1,200. Plus 1,200. So she's second place, but kind of a long shot. Seems like Brie is a clear front runner. Third, we have Kate Blanchett from Carol at plus 3,300. We have Jennifer Lawrence, J-Law, from Joy, which is J-Oy, at plus 3,300. And Charlotte Rampling from the film 45 Years at plus 6,600. So if she comes through for you, you're having a good old day.
You're having
Sunday
a good day.
Night. Yeah.
6,600.
So, Bob, is there any doubt of who we're going to pick, or are we going to pick a long shot in this one?
Yeah, I'll go outside the box. I'll go S. Ronan.
You'll go S. Ronan.
From Brooklyn.
Okay, well, let's talk about S. Ronan then. Go ahead and say her name, Bob.
I'm looking at it right now. Let's think here. Saoirse?
That is
what do you got?
That is not close. Her name is
Her
name is Saoirse.
Saoirse.
It's an Irish name. She's an Irish actress. She was born in New York.
Would not have
grew up in County Carlow in Ireland before she moved to Dublin, and now she lives in New York again.
So say it again, Saoirse?
Saoirse, yes, and it is an Irish name, and it literally means freedom in the Irish language.
Does it look different if you're drunk? Does it look more like Saoirse if you had a few?
Yeah, the vowels in the Irish language are pretty confusing if you're an only English speaker like both you and I. So, and she always jokes about...
Don't forget those 4 years of high school Spanish. So
yeah, well, that's right. Well, here they take 4+ years of Irish. They take it all the way through school. But so it's a fairly common woman's name here in Ireland, and it's Saoirse. But some, depending on your accent, it could be Saoirse. So
It's kind of like Cersei from Game of Thrones. I'm not sure if you're a Game of Thrones fan, but there's.
nerd.
Oh my gosh, you don't watch Game of
Well, I mean,
Thrones?
Cersei comes from Greek, doesn't it? Isn't Cersei a
Yes.
Greek myth? Okay, but yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know if they share a root.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway,
Anyway, I'm gonna go with
Bob's gonna
Cersei.
Saoirse
What was it again?
Saoirse.
Saoirse.
It rhymes with
Now I got
rhymes with
Cersei on the
inertia.
brain. Yeah, it's right. There you go.
There-
That's a good
there
way
you
to
go.
remember
So
it.
now you can impress your friends, and everybody listening at home can impress your friends.
Or create an awkward silence in the room.
Yeah,
One
there
of the
you
two.
go. There you go. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna go with Bree. I'm gonna go with Bree. Go with the fave.
Yeah. She's rocking Zach Adam Levine numbers there.
Zach Adam Levine. I love it. I love it. And Alex Gordon numbers too. Right?
Alex Gordon.
Yeah. Okay.
Aaron Gordon.
Alex Aaron Gordon. All right, so let's go on to the gentleman.
Okay.
This one, let's make a non-DiCaprio pick on this, Bob, because for best actor we have
why
here are
not?
the odds. Leo DiCaprio
Okay.
for The Revenant, which I'm going to see tonight as of this recording, he is at minus 10,000. Minus 10,000. Eddie Redmayne from the film The Danish Girl is at plus 2,000. Michael Fassbender from Steve Jobs is at plus 2,500. Bryan Cranston from Trumbo is at plus 8,000. And Matt Damon from The Martian is at plus 10,000. Plus 10,000 for
It was wicked good.
for the wicked
It was
good,
wicked
for
good.
The Martian.
I just want to say something about Steve Jobs movies now. Can we just stop making them?
Yes,
is
please.
like 4 enough?
Can you call
please?
Hollywood, Bob, and tell them that? Has nobody called Hollywood?
It's like they wanted it. They just kept wanting to try to get it in the Oscars. Now it's finally in the Oscars. So now they can stop making a Steve Jobs movie.
Yeah, so they've had their shot, but now he's got to
Yeah.
be dead for another like 50 years, and then they can do it again, like with some other people, like
Maybe.
they've done
Yeah.
it, like Gandhi remake is going to be coming sometime soon. Like that's got to
You think?
be. You've got. I mean, I know they did it back in the 80s, but it's got to.
Ben
be
Kingsley is
happening
not going to reprise that role, I think.
again. Yeah, but Richard Attenborough isn't with us anymore, so someone else is going to have to pick up the mantle.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah, I'm not going to go with Michael Fassbender based on that. We have to really go no DiCaprio.
no, you can go DiCaprio. Just like he's such such an
I
incredible
know, it's-
favorite, and
But he's never won. He's never won. So it could be the Academy just screwing with him.
it could be. It could be.
It could be a decoy.
Good.
Okay, I'm gonna go with DiCaprio in The Revenant. He's great in it. The only other performance I saw was Matt Damon in The Martian. Or The Martian.
Thank you for saying it correctly.
Yes, I do want to see Bryan Cranston in Trumbo.
Yeah.
But
I'll-
but I think it goes with DiCaprio.
Okay. I think it probably does too. But just for fun, I'm gonna pick Eddie Redmayne. Just for fun.
Gotcha. Have you seen The Danish Girl?
No. No.
Got to watch it.
And it's not really on my list. But I did see The Martian, and I don't think that's anything to.
Did you like them?
To write? I did like the film, but I don't think Matt Damon, and I didn't think his performance was anything that's going to be Oscar worthy. I thought his performance in Team America: World Police would be Oscar worthy, but they didn't get him there.
Matt Damon gets the free pass of people just really like him. They think he's a really nice guy, so he can carry a movie that he's not necessarily that great in because people think that he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
And he comes across. The Martian's a good example of that. Like you feel for him because he's on Mars all by himself, but it was a lot more of a comedic movie than I thought it was going to be, or like there were comedic elements of that movie that I didn't expect when we first sat down to start watching the
Well,
movie.
that's why it won the Golden Globe for Best Outroaringest Rageous Comedy. The Martian.
The
The
Martian.
Martian is the funniest movie of 2015, apparently.
There was no Boston Red Sox cap though, so I think that is a new trend for a Matt Damon movie.
Yeah,
He usually tries to throw one of those in there.
yeah. Well, he is a diehard fan. So, do you have the
Yeah, I know.
directors there, Bob? Let's go to that category.
I do. Yes. Well, Alejandro Gonzalez. I can't pronounce his last name. Iratu.
Where's your high school
Inarritu?
Spanish, Bob?
I know, right? Well, I didn't get to that in high school. But for The Revenant, and then we have he's coming in. We have a little bit different odds over here, but he's at negative 951.
Okay.
So clear favorite right now. And then George Miller for Mad Max Fury Road, not to be confused with the original Mad Max. He comes in at plus 448. Adam McKay for The Big Short is at plus 1500. Thomas McCarthy for Spotlight is at plus 2300. And Lenny Abramson for Room is coming in at 4700. So, who do you got?
All right. Well, I'm going to say Alejandro is not going to go 2 for 2 years in a row with the Oscar. I'm going to say it is going to be Miller for Mad Max, and I'll tell you why, Bob. It is about damn time that an elderly white man finally won an Oscar in this world.
Are you going on record to say that?
I'm going on record. It's about time an elderly white man could take home the Oscar. It's fun. Well, they're going to break the barrier, Bob.
Shatter that glass ceiling.
Shatter that ceiling that elderly white men have had such a hard time getting recognition for their work at the Oscars. I seriously think that that's a fantastic movie. I don't know if it will win. I don't know if he will win, but I just want it to happen so bad. I'm going to go for it.
You know, I was reading an article about Quentin Tarantino's favorite movie, and I'm a big Tarantino fan. And he said that his favorite movie of 2015 was Mad Max Fury Road. And when it came out, I instantly wrote it off as being just a stupid action movie. But after I saw Tarantino liked it, I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And I couldn't get through it. I shut it off. I shut it off about 3/4 of the way through. It seemed like one big chase sequence. And so what about Mad Max Fury Road did you enjoy?
I tell you, Bob.
That's what I want to know.
There are times when you see something and it makes your body involuntarily do things. Okay. And I saw this film. I was unlucky that I had to see it. I went to the theater to see it. I had to go alone because I was going to go with my wife, and then she had another engagement, and I couldn't find another person to go with at the last minute. And I was sitting there by myself in my seat. And the scene where you first see the guy who goes by the name of the Doof Warrior, that's the guy with that electric guitar that has flames coming out of it. My right arm was going to go up in the air to start fist pumping involuntarily. And I had to literally bite my fist to keep myself in the theater from going yes, hell yes.
So it awoke your inner 10-year-old?
I seriously almost yelled, yes, hell yes, in the theater. And I saw people around me were reacting. They're leaning forward in the chairs as much as you can respectfully make noise in a movie theater.
Gotcha.
So had I had
a guitar with
flames, I would have grabbed their leg and shook it, and just gone crazy on them silently, because it was But I mean, besides that, just because it was so over the top. I mean, he's jamming metal, and there's all this these engines roaring and flames everywhere. He's jamming metal to the guitar, and then just flames come out. I was like, this is really sweet.
Yeah, there was some great visuals with it. I mean, they definitely created that world that they didn't have the budget or the technology for in the original Mad Max. But I don't know. I've never been a fan of the chase movies or even just super action-packed movies. I think Bad Boys 2 was the last super action-packed movie I went and saw in the theaters. So.
Even the Charlie Sheen, Anthony Kiedis flea vehicle, The Chase.
Yes, exactly.
Even that one you don't like?
Well, that was an old Comedy Central repeat standard.
Yes, it was. Oh my God!
I've seen that movie
Comedy
from
Central?
Absolutely. That one does hold a pretty special place in my heart. I would actually put that one above Mad Max Fury Road. So
how does that line up with the old Dana Carvey special with the Choppin' Broccoli song?
Oh, well, that's a completely different category. We're not. That's comparing apples and
so that
T-bone steak.
That special wins its own award every year. Just best Dana Carvey Choppin' Broccoli special year after year.
He needs to do another one of those.
Yeah, I'd love it.
Yeah, just a Choppin' Broccoli special.
All right,
not new material. We don't want to hear the new stuff. We want to hear. Give us the hits.
Okay, give us the hits. All right. So let's go on to Best Picture, Bob.
Well, you picked George Miller, right?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't get your pick. Yes, George Miller is my pick.
I'm gonna go Alejandro.
Alejandro. All right. Yeah, I am sorry about that.
I'm sweeping it.
My heart just start beating when I start thinking about that scene with the guitar.
I know. I see you shaking. I haven't seen The Big Short yet. We did watch the first 5 minutes of it, not illegally streaming it at all, and it was good. We just couldn't find a good stream of it, but I'm excited to see that.
You
movie.
mean a good cinema?
A good cinema.
A good cinema to play it.
I couldn't find. Yeah.
Yes.
The lights came on in the cinema that we were
ah,
seeing it at,
yes.
and it just ruined the atmosphere. So we had to leave.
Yeah. For some reason, the screen started shaking, and the audio was off.
And some reason, they would talk and no voice would come out. So.
And the subtitles
we had to
were
leave.
in
It
a
was a
language I
shouty
didn't
cinema.
recognize. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go on to Best Picture. Now let's go on to Best Picture. Pretty clear-cut list. We've got The Revenant at -250. And just for if those new to sports betting, what that means is you have to bet $25 to win $10 or bet $250 to win $100. Okay, so
yes,
-250 for The Revenant. Spotlight is at +250. So that means if you bet $100, you win $250. The Big Short is at +600. Mad Max Fury Road is at +6,600. The Mashin is at +15,000. Room is at +15,000. Brooklyn is at +25,000, and Bridge of Spies also at +25,000. So if you put down $100 on Brooklyn or Bridge of Spies and they win, you're taking home 25 stacks, Bob.
Not a bad return on a bet, but I haven't seen Bridge of Spies or Brooklyn, so I don't know if I'd put down $100 on either one.
So actually, about Brooklyn, I apparently am one of the few human beings on planet Earth who has actually seen the film Brooklyn. I saw it in the theater here in Ireland because it really is a film, I think, for Irish people. It's not surprising to me that no one in America has seen it or has any interest in it. So basically, it's about an Irish woman in the 1950s who has to emigrate to America to find work because her family doesn't have a lot of money. She's kind of a rural.
Are you
Irish
sure
girl.
this isn't a Spike Lee joint?
I'm sure this is not a Spike Lee joint. Yeah, it sounds like one. Anyway, she falls in love with this Italian guy in Brooklyn, and then her mom dies back in Ireland, or someone dies back in Ireland. She has to come back. I think maybe it's her sister. She has to come back to Ireland, and there she meets another guy, and she kind of likes him, so she has to decide if she's going to go with the Italian guy back in Brooklyn in her new home, or the Irish guy she meets, who's actually played by one D. Gleason, Bob. Do you know this guy? He was in Star Wars. He's in lots of things. His name is
Jackie's son?
His name is Donald Gleason. No, it's actually Brendan Gleason's son.
Who's Brendan Gleason?
Brendan Gleason he plays Mad Eye Moody in the Harry Potter movies. He plays the...
Oh, now see, you called me a nerd for listening or watching Game of Thrones.
There we go.
Who's the nerd now?
He plays, in the movie In Bruges, he plays the older, grizzled assassin hitman in the movie In Bruges. And
never seen
anyway, he's in quite a bit of things. I'm sure you've seen him in something, but he has a son whose name is Donal, and Donal Gleason is in tons of stuff this year, including the new Star Wars.
You have to love nepotism.
Yeah, and I'm going to give you a guess on how Donal's first name is spelled.
Oh man. Okay.
Take your
guess. X P
Ooh.
L M A O L I P.
Close, Bob. Yep. You didn't quite get it. It is,
darn,
and it's not spelled Donal like the English version of it, like Donal Logue is. It is spelled in Irish.
Now I do know him.
Yeah, you do know him. So it's he has the English version of this Irish name, which is Domhnall. Domhnall, and it
and pronounce it then.
It is pronounced Donal.
Okay, so there's a hard N that is nowhere.
Right, but the MH in Irish makes a kind of well, no, it makes a small. It sometimes makes a V sound, so it's probably, if you said it in Irish, there would probably be a little bit of a it'd be like Donal, maybe Donal. It'd be kind of longer, but in English we just say Donal, and it's actually the Irish version of Donald, and they both mean ruler or king. So how Donal Logue gets his name is that there's the classic name Donald, that's Donal in Scottish and Irish, and then he just has the English version of the Irish version of the English name Donald.
That bodes well for Donald Trump if he wants to be president.
Yeah, and it's because that is,
unfortunately,
yeah, that is pretty funny how that works. But anyway, that's what
I would love if the public toilets were coin operated, which I'm sure he'll implement.
Yeah, maybe. But anyway, with Brooklyn, that's what that's That's what it's about. But there's a lot of, not a lot maybe, but there's quite a few Irish deep cuts. They're like references to stuff that only Irish people would understand. And I picked up on a couple of them just because I've lived here long enough. They reference a couple of important Irish leaders from the 20th century that I don't think any Americans would know, or not very many would know. And they have they meet a girl who's from a place in Ireland where they have a very distinct accent, and they make sure to have her speak in that very distinct accent. But no one in America would pick that up. They wouldn't understand that that's what that they're making a joke about this rural person who has this distinct accent. So I don't know who the audience
barely get subtext.
Yeah, well, it's a cultural thing. I mean, there is subtext there, right? Because they have this girl. She says, "I'm from Cavan," which is one of the counties in Ireland, and their accent, they say Cavan is how they would pronounce where they're from, and it's done in kind of a jab, like, "Ha ha, look at this rural hayseed from there's hayseed again from Cavan."
Did they have guns and tell you to get off the property?
No, there was no guns involved in this movie. None that
Wasn't
I can
accurate.
remember in the movie Brooklyn. But yeah, so that's.
Well, you going with Brooklyn for? Are you gonna go big money?
Going big money. I am not gonna go big money on Brooklyn.
Okay.
I am again gonna go with Mad Max. I'm going 6,600, which is pretty good money. That's pretty good money. And I think it's gonna.
We almost have to create a real consequence to that bet, because if Mad Max wins Best Picture at the Oscars,
yeah.
I mean, Donald Trump might actually have a shot of winning the presidency this year.
I'd actually parlay that together. I'd actually parlay Best Picture and Best Director. I'd parlay those.
Okay.
If I could.
Okay.
If we were doing this, I would just
Would you add on Donald Trump then being president?
No, I'm not gonna bet on that.
That'd be just a triple parlay.
Yeah, I don't go crazy here, Bob. I'm not gonna go nuts on this parlay. I'm just going Mad Max winning Best Director and Best Picture. Is that so crazy?
And the Spurs winning the NBA championship and Tim Duncan retiring?
Ooh, wow. I don't know. I don't know. We'll
yeah,
have to think.
You can go deep. You can go really deep.
Yeah, no, we can. I have to think about it. So, but I am going to go with Mad Max as my pick.
And I'm going to go. Wow. The Revenant is favorite.
Mm-hmm. Minus 250 again for anyone listening at home.
But just to shake it up, I'll go Spotlight.
Spotlight. All right.
Yep. I want to see it.
The movie
that
Matt Damon should have been in this year instead of The Mashin.
Right.
Have been in Spotlight.
The Mashin.
All right.
Could have worked for a newspaper.
So those are our picks for this year for the Oscars. Of course, there's many more of the big awards. Now, Bob, do you have some other Oscar fun bets?
Well, there was a couple of fun bets here. There's stuff about dresses and whether it'll be straps or no straps or whatever.
There's a deep cut you can parlay with Mad Max.
You might have a gambling problem if you're betting on dresses in the Oscars. But anyway, I'm not here to judge. Mm-hmm. There is one though that is will any Canadian take home an Oscar? Mm-hmm. Yes or no?
Okay.
Now there are 8 nominees. Rachel McAdams, supporting actress. Emma Donoghue, adapted screenplay for The Room. But it was called Room before, so I wonder if it's The Room or just Room.
I think it's Room because The Room is a really bad movie from a couple years ago, isn't it?
Well, this says The Room, and so.
Well, if it has dress bets, we can assume that this is the highest level of journalism that you found this source.
Yeah, exactly. This is an absolute credible source. The Weeknd for best song in 50 Shades of Grey. Are you hip to The Weeknd, Corey?
No, I'm not hip to 50 Shades of Grey, but that would be hilarious if 50 Shades of Grey takes home an Oscar.
It might stand a chance. Yeah. I don't know who else is in the best song category, but now this name, Chris Dusterdijk, sound mixing. It doesn't sound Canadian, but sound mixing for The Revenant. Cameron Waldbauer for visual effects for The Revenant. Hamish Purdy, great name. Hamish, I've never seen as a first name before, but I like it. Production design for The Revenant.
He might be from Nova Scotia.
Right?
Because that might be a Scottish heritage name. Because Hamish is from that. So maybe he's from Nova Scotia. Big Scottish.
Just Hamish Purdy. It sounds nice. I don't know. It sounds like a fictional character from way back when. Robert A. Pandini, makeup and hair for The Revenant. So a lot of Canadians were a part of The Revenant. Mm-hmm. Richard Williams, animated short prologue. So the question is yes or no.
All right.
Will a Canadian take home an Oscar?
I'm going to pick yes, and I'm going to pick the best song from 50 Shades of Grey because I just can't wait to see someone at the Oscars say, and the Oscar goes to 50 Shades of Grey.
In honor of the New Zealander movie, The Weeknd is really hot right now. So,
nice.
Yeah.
And Bob's drinking a delicious icy latte.
Exactly. He's really hot right now.
All right. So what do you think, Bob?
I'll go with I'm gonna go Hamish Purdy. Name stands out. Production design.
All right. So you're also saying yes.
I'm gonna say yes. Yep.
Okay, so we're
just because
both gonna say Canadians are going to. What was the line on that? On a Canadian, at least one.
Yes is negative 317 and no is plus 208. So pretty even in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, and those are very specific numbers. Usually it's rounded off to the nearest 10, but that's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
they did their deep research on that.
Yeah,
one.
That's great. Well, I think that's our Oscar picks, and I think that's probably going to be everything for us this week. Bob, what do you think?
Absolutely, yes. We will be back on Monday actually for our first Monday podcast. We'll have a special guest for you, and I'm going to get back at Corey and start talking some fantasy baseball. So
yes, we'll do
throw some quizzes at you.
Yeah, we'll do a short recap of the weekend's action. But in the meantime, you can find us all over the internet. We are at Twitter at Sticky Bleachers. We are on YouTube, where we are uploading a NBA simulation, Bulls versus Blazers, the old video game simulation. It's not from that game; it's from the Tecmo NBA games. You can find us there. Mm-hmm. Keep subscribing, keep sharing that out. I really would love to see the subscriber numbers on the YouTube channel grow so that we can keep doing more fun things on that, and more people can see the result of the work that we put in. Rate us if you can on your podcast service of choice. We are on many of them. We are on iTunes. We are on Podomatic. I believe we're on Stitcher, Bob.
We are on Stitcher as well. Yes.
So just get in touch with us. We'd love to read some of your questions and comments here on the podcast and respond to you, reply to you, chat with you, have fun with you on Twitter, on the internet, and everywhere. Bob, shall we go out with some parting comments?
How about?
Okay, this was from the college basketball subreddit, and the question was, tell me why I should be scared of your team in the tournament. Okay, ready?
Ooh. Okay.
User, let's see, user no remarks needed with Virginia Tech flair says, because if they're playing our team, they're in the wrong tournament. Ooh, Virginia Tech flair. User OC Hawkeye 14 with Iowa Hawkeyes flair says exhibits A, B, and C, and all of them linked to still images of Iowa center Adam Woodbury poking players in the eye.
Okay.
And
we do play dirty.
And finally, user Rick _flair _woo with West Virginia flair says,
gotcha.
You ever watch the show Oz? We're the basketball version of the show Oz. And I think that's going to do it for us this week on Sticky Bleachers. I am Corey.
I am Bob. We'll see you guys soon.
Play ball!
Sticky.